One of the biggest accounting firms on the entire planet, KPMG, added both Bitcoin and Ethereum to their treasury, and seemingly nobody's really talking about it or reacting. I find it very strange. Bitcoin's trading at basically the same price as it was yesterday, but seemingly sentiment has completely shifted, and now we're all bears again, right? Crypto people, what are you going to do? Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and take your gator hat and drop it on the like button. See you guys over here talking about if I'm going to wear a hat, not going to wear a hat. I went au natural, full bedhead this morning. Because really, now that we're family, I don't feel like I need to dress up for you guys. Right? I'm in my hoodie, my morning hoodie. Hoodie up. Got bedhead, morning hair. Long hair, do not care. Long hair, don't care. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? Everybody having a good one, enjoying the volatility and roller coaster that is Bitcoin and altcoin price action. Yesterday was super bull, and then today it went up and came right back down to the same price. Now it's super bear. It's over. We got rejected. It's dead. None of that's true, obviously. None of that's true. I think that we have gone from a sentiment of people wanting to sell the rip to people wanting to buy the dip. I want to buy the dip. I want to buy the dip. Just can't get bearish when that dip comes, and that's what generally happens. Guys, also right now I realize it appears that the digital assets in the future of finance, the president's working group on stablecoins, is happening live on YouTube. So when we're done here, or if you'd rather look at a bunch of politicians jawbone about stablecoins, you can find that as well. I don't have time to live stream it and make fun of it like we did last time with Jerome Powell. Ooh, Lake Tahoe. Nice. I'm jealous. I see it. I'm trying to click the comment. It's not letting me. There you go. You're skiing up at Heavenly. It's happening. It's happening. Yeah, guys. So let's do the thing. Let's dive right in. We got some things to talk about. First of all, of course, KPMG in Canada adds Bitcoin and ETH to its corporate treasury, right? This is a huge, mega, massive, gargantuan, gigantic deal. And it's kind of like going on as it's just like part of the news cycle now. Remember when MicroStrategy bought Bitcoin in 2020 and it was like changed the entire planet, right? Well, MicroStrategy at the time was a small business software company, a couple $1 billion market cap, not particularly huge. Michael Saylor wasn't, as famous, obviously, as he is now. But the very fact that someone was willing to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet was such big news that it sparked a bull run for months, and a complete media frenzy surrounding Bitcoin. KPMG is one of the big four accounting firms. This is a financial services company. Their literal job is like understanding compliance and finance and how people should be managing their money and handling it with regard to the government. And in Canada, they have added not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum to their balance sheet. We don't know how much, so that I guess matters, although it doesn't really matter to me. Seems to be a beginning move either way. I mean, this is just absolutely massive. We'll put some pressure on the Ernst & Youngs and PricewaterhouseCoopers of the world, and basically any other financial firm that is yet to touch Bitcoin or crypto assets. And they bought Ethereum too. Not just Bitcoin, guys. Not just Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here's what they had to say. Crypto assets are a maturing asset class. I like that they're calling them crypto assets, not cryptocurrencies. That's dope. These guys get it. And not digital assets, because if you call it digital assets, you got to include MP3s. Crypto assets are a maturing asset class. This investment reflects our belief that institutional adoption of crypto assets and blockchain technology will continue to grow and become a regular part of the asset mix. Gotta love it. The crypto asset industry continues to grow and mature, and it needs to be considered by financial services and institutional investors. We've invested in a strong crypto assets practice, and we will continue to enhance and build on our capabilities across DeFi, NFTs, and the metaverse, to name a few. We expect to see a lot of growth in these areas in the years to come. This is a financial absolute monster giant. huge, monstrous, giant financial services company investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Love to see it. Gotta love it. This is big. It's big. We should see massive price movement. You remember when if you know, Forbes, like back in like 2018, 17, it was like, if you even saw the word Bitcoin in a like mainstream media piece, the price of Bitcoin would change like 10%. Do you remember that? I also remember when like altcoin project could just rebrand their logo and it would go up like 400%, right? Now, man, we're part of the mainstream news flow, so much so that even the biggest news that we see doesn't really affect the price tremendously. But maybe this shows that there's an underpinning of institutional adoption and buying that is driving this move. Anyways, let's keep going on. My ex too worked at KPMG. That's why we split. LOL. So now you guys are just KP and MG. Got it. Makes perfect sense. Next, crypto market cap reclaimed 2 trillion. Oh, that's what's up. Bitcoin reached 30-day high above 45K for like a couple minutes. Bitcoin topped 45K, but failed to sustain because apparently all financial media expects us to only go up, never retrace, and hold every single level that we even touch, even if it's not really that meaningful of a level. 45K is just 45K. It's just 45K. And the total market cap, 2 trillion. Let's just take a look at the chart. Nobody cares about that. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Oh, dumpy. It's over. It's dead. We're dead. Sorry. Bad news, guys. All right. So here's some big news I shared in the newsletter this morning. This is the weekly chart. I've added a new level to the weekly chart right there. The blue level, 45,469. Been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a strong line to step to. We have obviously the zone from 69 to 53. I still think we have the zone from 53 to 42 being a range, 42 down to 28 being a range. Of course, the red line at 39.6. Now I've added a blue line because right now I made it blue because it's not like set in stone like the black lines are on this chart. The red line was a warning line, but I've made a blue line here because look, when we dropped all the way at the beginning of December, believe that was that week. Yep, down to like 42 from, the 50s, 60 to 42 basically that week. Well, this is where 3 of those weekly candles basically bottomed out, right at 45,469, which is also a key area on the daily chart. I'll show you in a second. Look, 1, 2 candles exactly, 3 break, and now this is exactly where this moved so far. It's a weekly chart. We can't get excited. That's why it's blue. That's where this move went to die so far. So we're going to watch that level for now on, as well as sort of key level in the middle here. But you can see it here on the daily. I've drawn it quite a few times, so no surprises here, right? It was the bottom of these local moves as well. Had not been tested. We came up, I don't know, a few dollars short of it today. A few dollars short. These are the daily levels I've had drawn for quite a while. There it is. Same area within $100, $200 is not, a line is not exact. They are just zones, as I always tell you. So look, guys, yesterday we broke the 50 MA on the daily. That does not happen often. We've been under it since 59,000, November 18th. We broke the 50 MA on my wife's birthday, and we held it as support on my birthday the day before. You guys might not know that. My birthday is November 17th. Send gifts. Emmy's is on November 18th. But yeah, so we had, that's the last time that we were trading above the 50 MA was on my birthday. So basically it's my fault. It's my fault. It's all my fault. But we don't casually flip the 50 MA that often, right? I mean, look at all this resistance. Yeah, we were above it for a day there, maybe for a day there. This is the first time we've had a solid flip of that to support. You expect to come down and test it at least at 42,770. It should hold, no guarantees, but there's no reason to be getting overly bearish. Yes, this is an ugly potential candle right into resistance. We expect to hit resistance and retrace back from resistance. We just broke out. We just retested this blue level. So coming back down here, like even this, right? I keep telling you, 39.6 is the dip I really want to buy. Even if, it comes down here and reflips that back and goes, hey, bro, that's a party I would attend. But for right now, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this right around 42,700 for an entry at that 50 MA. Looking the daily on the Bollinger Bands, look, right? Look, we got way above our skis here, topped out for a while. That was really the top, actually. way below here. That was the mean reversion. Well, now, this candle was trading only above that. So look, maybe we get something like that, back to the center line to test it as support. Either way, bottom line, when you look at this weekly chart, breaking 39 and 42, when you look at this daily chart, breaking out from the descending resistance, flipping the 50 MA, it's very clear that the mentality, in theory, assuming that you are a Bitcoin bull in general, should have flipped from being, oh shit, I got to sell every time it bounces, to, oh shit, I need to buy every time we get a significant dip. Guys, nothing goes straight up. Watch for the good dips. Yeah, I think 39.6 gets front run too, because, there's the psychological level of 40,000 right above it. Gary Gensler is a lizard. It's confirmed. He was actually the star of that movie or show V back in the day. You guys might not know about that. Yeah. So that's my view on Bitcoin for the moment. Of course, look, there's always a signal at the top, right? Nothing is a better signal for me than bullish and bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart with oversold and overbought RSI. Went oversold, massive bullish divergence. That was the dead bottom at 33. I went long there, didn't hold it like a dumb. That was the bottom, as it has been hundreds of times before. Well, now this was pushing hard without making a bear div. We do have some bearish divergence there now, right there. That is confirmed. But now anything that we hold above this level around 41.3 will make hidden bullish divergence and be a signal up. So this to me looks like an RSI reset, a nice retrace. RSI already back down to 59 from being at 83. This is what you call healthy retracement for now. A reset giving more power. Maybe this is the top. I don't know. That is a key resistance, but there's no reason to think it would be the top when we just broke out. Bitcoin will reach 200K in second half of 2022. Why not? Finally, somebody saying something higher than 100K. Like, bold claim. We were supposed to be at 100K like by the end of last year, and everyone's like, maybe we could get to 100K this year. Come on, guys. Papa Cialis. Aim high. Think big, right? 200. Also says Ether can reach 12,000. Sure. Why not? Ether could go a lot higher than that. Guys, it's basically, this is once again, this is FS Insight, of course, fun strat. So they're saying it's about institutional adoption, saying DeFi and NFTs are going to continue to grow, which could take Ethereum up to $12,000. Love to see it. Love to finally see some nice, big, fat, huge predictions. Much bigger numbers. Let's take a look at ETH here. Yeah, same candle. Right on the daily. Yeah, ETH, you're looking for this retest. It didn't happen. I'd be bidding 29 above that, like 29.50 with 29.28 in mind. Breakdown, breakthrough, kind of a breaker, actually. Never actually was tested. Yeah, something like this, is what you're looking for. If that fails, then you probably come down here and do that. But this looks like dips are still for buying, in my opinion, here on Ethereum. Let's keep going. Assange DAO raises $38 million to aid WikiLeaks founders court battle. That's pretty crazy. $38 million people have basically donated through a DAO to support Assange. The DAO, which is looking to help the whistleblower, has now raised more Ether than Constitution DAO. Pretty crazy. And gives you a lot of kind of a faith in humanity. Whether you believe that Assange is right or wrong, it's crazy that somebody through a decentralized autonomous organization, effectively a decentralized charity, can quickly raise $38 million to support them in their case, right? Here it goes. The group will use the proceeds to bid on a non-fungible token artwork created by Assange and digital artist Pack. The piece, called Clock 1 for 1, is a muted clock that counts the days that Assange has spent behind bars. The artwork proceeds will support Assange's defense through the Hamburg-based nonprofit Wow Holland Fund, according to a Pack interview with art publication Art Next. You can actually see there's a thingy here, a juice box. You can see in real time, I guess, how much people are donating. Hadn't seen this link before. Yeah. By the way, just jumping back really fast to this, the 200K. So you should listen. Today I had one of my favorite podcast guests. I had him on a YouTube video, now twice on the podcast. Dave Weisberger. He's the CEO of CoinRoutes. The guy just has more hot takes and brilliant opinions than almost any guest. He's on the podcast today, and he basically said that if Bitcoin can, flip gold, we're looking at, $570,000 targets. He didn't say by the end of the year, but we were talking about a 15x on Bitcoin. Very easy. So if you want to hear that case made, today's podcast is a great time to do that. That'll be on YouTube at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's already on Spotify, Apple Music, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. DeFi project Aave launches decentralized social media platform on Polygon. Lots of news about Matic and Polygon of late. We're going to get to that. Developers behind Aave have created Lens Protocol, an open source Web3 smart contracts based social graph based on dynamic NFTs. That's a lot of words. That's a lot of words, and I don't know what they mean, and it feels like somebody's insulting me. But yeah, so guys, I've talked about this. I've done interviews, and when people say, hey, what do you think is going to be a big story in 2022 in the crypto space? And I'm like, I haven't really seen any movement in it, but I feel like decentralized social media is going to be huge and is going to be the next push, because we all know that social media in general is the hottest of trash, right? You look rough today. Come on, man. I feel great. I just didn't do my hair. I don't do it. Just letting it fly. I feel great. You look great today, though. I want you to know that. I would never shoot back with an insult. Anyways, so yeah, listen, I'm going to have to dig in more to this to see exactly what Lens is, and what they're doing. It's Lens culinaris, a plant that has a symbiotic relationship with soil bacteria. You guys went deep on the science there, right? But yeah, this is the CEO of Aave, Stani Kulichov, has been talking about for quite a while the need for decentralized social media. We obviously have seen Jack start to make moves with Twitter before leaving that could have made it more decentralized, and we know that he will be focusing on that in the future. This is the first little scratch on the surface, I think, of what is likely to come. So this is big news that this is actually happening. Aave rejected. Just taking a look at their chart, I still think we got to break this descending line and the 50 MA before we get too excited. Looks due for a little retracement here after this bullish move. Speaking of Polygon, and we were, a Sequoia-led group buys Polygon crypto token for $450 million. Guys, this is not a small investment. This is massive. They raised funds from over 40 people. They had Mike Novogratz, Tiger Global, Alex Ohanian, Animoca Brands. Huge names. Basically did a token deal where they sold them $450 million worth of tokens, probably at a discount, let's be real, to raise more money to continue to build, but also to increase institutional exposure and awareness in the United States. You guys know about Polygon, obviously. They're arguably the leading layer 2, right? Basically take your transactions off the Ethereum chain, bundle them up, make them smaller, send them back to that chain to eliminate the gas fees and the block and to reduce the block size. Absolutely huge. This is another movement I said we're going to see this year, right? Layer 1s cannot scale to mainstream adoption, the ones that exist right now. So they need help. And that comes in the form of layer 2 protocols that can take some of the load off of the system. But this is a massive, 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 massive investment, $450 million, right? We've been talking about venture capital funds coming in and raising funds to invest in things, 500 million here, $1 billion there. This is 450 million going to one existing project, buying a coin that has already been massively pumped. I mean, as you know, just last year in the newsletter here, we were talking about Matic at 5-10 cents. Right? It's trading at about 190 when this came out. It's going to be lower now. Got to be bullish on Matic here. Look at that. See, Bitcoin flipped that 50 MA on the daily. We're seeing it rejected on a lot of alts that haven't even tested it yet. This is in a massive ascending channel, sort of a rejection here at the midline. Listen, this line, 179, I've been talking about it for a really long time, but in and out of Matic around that area. I think we get a retest of that and should continue back up. DeFi trading platform FODL, giving away 1 million in Bored Ape Ethereum NFTs. I know nothing about FODL. Know nothing about them. But it's a DeFi leverage trading platform. Not one of the biggest ones, as far as I know. But if you're into trying to win some free apes, go get some apes, guys. Go get some apes. That's the story here. Basically, you can get some apes. Did I say 190? I meant $1.90. Shh, quiet, Jay Smilenick. You're a nice guy. I see you on Twitter. You're a good guy. So yeah, go get yourself an ape. And finally, NFT home sale has 1,500 bidders lining up. So this is really cool, right? This is in Florida. Of course, look at that house. You ever seen a house that looks more like it should be in Florida than probably that house? So listen, an NFT apartment, an NFT of a Ukraine-based apartment sold last year for 113,176. Now, this is a home. What's interesting is, yeah, the real estate market is hot, but you don't usually see 1,500 people lining up to buy a house that looks like, I don't know, this. It's a nice house. Nice house. I literally think that that's a replica of the Liberty Bell sitting in the front yard over there under that thing. What is that? What do you do with that bell? I just saw this. I didn't really look at the house. They really like arches, right? They're arch maximalists. They got one here. They got an arch here. But this is like, that's a bell. This is definitely like you have a really shithead teenager, right? And you're like, this is going to be your room. And then when they won't wake up for high school, you come out here and you ring the hell out of this bell. You just ring it. You ring it and you just ring it till they wake up. And you do that to them every morning until they're a slightly less shitty teenager. But yeah, so guys, listen, we all know outside of JPEGs and apes, we know that the real exciting use case for NFTs is the transfer of value and proven identification of an item from one person to another without a predatory third party in the middle. We don't need a toll collector for me to sell my house to you. That can literally be done with an NFT. I'm just curious how, when they do this. So listen, they're having basically an auction. You can buy the NFT, you get the house. I'm curious how this is going to integrate with legacy systems. We all know that this is the future, but you still have to have a transaction of that deed in the legal record of the state, the county, etc. There's going to still probably have to pay the transfer fees and do all the things you would have to do in a legacy system. But this will be exchanged with an NFT that proves who owns the house. That is what NFTs are for. That is so exciting. So exciting to see this happening. There is no reason that one person cannot sell another person something without somebody in the middle telling them that it's okay and holding the money for trust. If you have trust, you don't even actually need trust between two parties. You just need to be able to make the transaction. This NFT is now yours. This house is now yours. Give me my money. Give me my money. Now I'm wondering what's happening in, I see Maxine Waters over here. Should we turn them on for a few seconds? Let me see. 1 second. See if I can do this. Hold up. I have no idea what she's saying, but I see her face and it's doing stuff and it makes me feel like I need to do stuff. Where is it? This is the Presidential's Working Group on Stablecoins. Hold up. Hold up. Let me see if you can hear this. Wait. I have her sound down.
As we thank you
guys
for the
hear
question.
That?
The stable coins that the PWG report focused on the
Can you guys hear
function
it?
that they could provide because of their stable value to be used widely as a means of payment by households, businesses, financial firms, governments. As a, we identified 3 risks. One is the run risk that you referred to. And that is the ability, if investors were to lose confidence in the quality of the assets backing the stable coin, there could be a run which has potential systemic risk consequences.
A bank run. Okay, that's fair.
In addition, stablecoin is not the stablecoin is not just the creation and redemption of the stablecoin. It is also, as a payment mechanism, involved in the operations that involve the storage, the transfer of stablecoins for payments. And that is what the President's Working Group added to the conversation, that part of the arrangement is also important for supervisors to have some visibility to, and to establish some risk management standards to ensure that the payment system retains its integrity. So one, ensure a depository institution allows for sufficient confidence in the value of the assets backing the
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Tito, can you hear it?
Also allow some oversight of the overall payment arrangement.
She's honorable. Can you
Thank
guys hear
very
me
much. The
talk when I'm
gentleman
talking
from
over
North
it? Can you not
Carolina,
really hear me?
Mr. McHenry, who is the ranking member of the committee, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Chairwoman Waters, and Undersecretary Lang. Thank you. Thanks for your engagement and running point on this report. And I do appreciate the conversation that we've had and that you've had actively on Capitol Hill across the aisle. I think on both sides of the aisle. I think
Guys, feel free to make fun
good.
of them. Cool.
But just so we're on the same
problem with that.
page, I just want to make sure that we're looking at this in a similar fashion. Is there current federal law that governs stable coins or frankly, digital assets for that matter?
There are federal laws that apply to various aspects of stablecoin that address illicit finance, address stablecoins as an investment asset, and consumer protection laws would apply to stablecoins.
But nothing that's explicitly about stable coins.
Nothing
That's what-
explicitly, but
And that's what
the
we try to address,
function. Yeah.
right? So yes, of course. And by that same measure, something 100 years in the future, we currently have law for. So it's a pretty expansive response you've given me. But there is no notion of a stable coin in current law or digital assets in current law that is explicit about those things. This wasn't meant to be a
I do
gotcha.
not
The
believe
answer is
so.
no.
Yeah, I don't believe so. Yeah.
Right. That's it. I'm sorry. This was supposed to be the easy question.
That was the lead.
So here, and I think we can have some consensus here on how we get ahead. But one area that I think this committee should examine is the current state regulatory frameworks. Did the working group consult with state regulators on their existing frameworks?
Yes, the working group did consult and talk to state regulators, and a number of state regulators have increased their expertise in this area.
But
The PWG report believes that a more consistent, less fragmented framework is preferred.
and does that also mean that the president's working group would think that we shouldn't have state chartered credit unions or banks? By that same notion, that would be like saying we only have federal banks. So to that point, you consulted with these regulators, but there was no mention of the existing state regulatory framework. Why was that? Why did the president's working group make that decision to not mention existing existing frameworks and lessons learned from those existing, state frameworks?
Mm-hmm. The working group proposed a consistent framework.
And I understand what you
on the
proposed.
state regulators. So a proposal.
Yeah, it's actually
for
pretty good.
an
It's actually good. I'm gonna stop
IPI
making fun of it.
could be a state chartered or a federal chartered bank.
But
But
what I'm asking is a separate question, Undersecretary.
I do not.
Look,
Yes.
it's not an
They're fake.
adversarial conversation. I think
Yes.
the fact that the administration's put out this report is a welcome thing. And you've given one solution to a really complex set of industries, but there was no mention of any state regulatory framework. We know that New York is the most active, and they have a very safe but very robust set of regulation and disclosures. But there's no mention of New York. There's no lessons learned from the states included in this report. I was interested in why that was, not the question of what you reported. I've read the report. So why not understand the lessons learned from the states, and why was that not included in the report?
Right.
These are blue light
There's no
glasses that Twitter
explicit
sent to me,
reason for
literally
why
from
it was
Twitter,
not included.
to
It was
eliminate the
certainly
harmful effects
considered
of a laptop.
as an
or computer.
alternative. The
Yeah.
principal reason is that the state regulatory system is fragmented. There is an issuer, and then there are the custodial wallet providers, the other parts of the arrangement that are subject to different kinds of regulations.
Okay, so
There's no plenary oversight of the entire arrangement.
thank you. I appreciate your response. By that same notion, you would like to have a single regulator at the federal level for all financial institutions.
Let's go.
That didn't succeed in Dodd-Frank. Now, I do want to ask about de-risking, though. In the report, you outlined that these are risky. This is an extremely risky proposition of stablecoins. But the conclusion here is that you should put them in a federally insured depository institution. With Dodd-Frank, we attempted to de-risk those institutions. And what you're adding to explicitly with this report is a riskier aspect that would have a federal backstop and the federal taxpayer backstop and the unwinding authority granted under Dodd-Frank for these institutions and specifically this product. Shouldn't we be in the game of de-risking rather than adding to the risk of a federal bailout or for these products?
So I think in the current environment, regulators are in a bit of an uncomfortable position. Stablecoins are increasing. They've grown rapidly, as you've said. There are risks. Regulation is about where those risks should reside and how to protect users and investors.
And
if stablecoins are backed by high quality assets, their risk is quite low. And they can form a building block, a cornerstone of a payment system. But if they're not supported and there's questions about the quality of the assets in the reserve pool backing them, then they create risk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the extended time we both got to share on this.
Yes.
You think the state regulatory framework we can learn a lot from of what they've done well and the things that we can do better.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
appreciate the
Melker.
engagement and yield back the balance of my time.
Dude,
Thank
you
The
overdid your
gentlewoman
time.
From New York, Ms. Velasquez, who is also the chair of the House Committee on Small Business, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Waters, and welcome, Undersecretary Lin. I would like to ask you about the investigation that was conducted by the New York Attorney General Letitia James last year that revealed that starting in 2017, the stablecoin Tether deceived clients and markets by failing to hold reserves to back their Tethers in circulation, which was contrary to their representations. The President's Working Group report highlights the lack of standards of reserve assets as a concern and recommends legislation which requires stablecoin issuers become insured depository institutions. Can you elaborate on this recommendation and why it could create standards regarding the composition of the reserve assets and information issuers make to the public?
Yes, thank you for your question. So the issues that you pose are extremely pertinent to the first risk that the PWG report identified, which is the risk of runs on a stablecoin arrangement because the quality of the assets, the composition of the assets backing the coin are not in fact able to offer stable value, perhaps in periods of stress. That is, the current market regulators have authorities to address, to promote market integrity and to protect investors. The proposal for an IDI is to bring the
UTI.
quality
Should I say
and
UTI?
composition of assets under a supervisory framework where there is a regulator who can attest to the quality of those assets backing a stablecoin. And there is a regulator and supervisor who can also oversee the entire arrangement for a stablecoin to be used for payments. So that is the core of the approach. We believe it provides clarity to stablecoin issuers in terms of a consistent framework versus state level regulations and money transmitter licenses in 49 states, and allows for beneficial innovation. In our outreach, the industry really asked for clarity so they could move forward and believed it would facilitate innovation.
Thank you, Undersecretary, for that answer. Secretary Lynn, Puerto Rico has become a favorite location for cryptocurrency speculators and investors from the mainland. And, you know, the mainland media, this is Bloomberg, this is Rolling Stone, CNN did a report, Wall Street Journal, another report. So at the heart of this situation is Puerto Rico's Individual Investors Act, which enables wealthy mainlanders who establish themselves as Puerto Rican residents to pay zero tax on capital gains, dividends, and interest, making the island particularly attractive for cryptocurrency investors. Would additional legislative authority from Congress be helpful to go after these crypto investors who are attempting to use Puerto Rico as a tax shelter?
It's not just crypto investors.
Evade IRS reporting.
Oh, what a bitch.
Congresswoman, I'm not familiar with the particular act, the Individual Investors Act, but the Treasury Department does believe and works by the principle that taxpayers.
Those scribbles on my
should
paper, that's
pay
what I
the
do when I'm
taxes they
podcasting.
owe.
ADD.
I believe maybe Treasury officials and IRS are looking at that issue quite closely with respect to crypto transactions. And we would be happy to follow up further on this particular situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gold
very
lives
much.
in Schiff lives
Thank
in
you.
Puerto
I
Rico.
yield back.
Thank you. The gentlewoman from Missouri, Mrs. Wagner, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. She could have glasses. Take bets. Glasses or no glasses. How do you?
Thank you.
What do you do?
Madam
How do we
Chairwoman.
use the
Under
machine?
Secretary Liang, the Financial Stability Board included
Glasses.
high-level recommendations to provide for supervision and oversight of global stablecoin arrangements. A few of the recommendations include, and I'm going to highlight all 4 of them. 1, a comprehensive governance framework with a clear allocation of accountability for the functions and activities. 2, effective risk management frameworks with regard to reserve management, operational resilience, and cybersecurity safeguards. 3, transparent information necessary to understand the functioning of the arrangement. And 4, the legal clarity for users on the nature and enforceability of any redemption rights and the process for redemption, among others. These recommendations seek to address one of the critical issues, which is the potential for fraud and the mismanagement of reserves. In December, a number of CEOs discussed their operations before this committee, and it seems that based on certain issuers' existing regulatory structures at the state level, the requirements would meet these high-level recommendations and address a number of the risks highlighted in the report. Undersecretary Liang, do you share that same view?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I think the principles that you laid out under the FSB are exactly the principles that the PWG report believes its recommendation are trying to meet. I think under the current regulatory framework, it does not meet all of those criteria at this point in the U.S. And
I can tell you that the CEOs that came before us, really, the regulatory structures that they set up and we're working with, especially under the state, at the state level.
I don't think that'll happen.
Met these high level recommendations and addressed a number of these risks that were highlighted in the report. Do you agree?
We have talked to some of the states and have talked to supervisors, and I believe while they believe under some of the licenses, they have oversight of the issuers and a different look through a different lens at the wallet providers and the other kinds of entities that are involved in storing, transferring, allowing stablecoins to be used as payments. That's a different set of regulations under the money transmitters licenses. And there is not plenary oversight of the overall arrangement. And if stablecoins are going to be used widely as a payments mechanism, there is a concern of trying to make sure that they can actually perform their function, that there's operational oversight of operations for cyber converted.
Let me just say this. It seems that we should be examining the best practices under state frameworks instead of pretending that they do not exist. Applying a uniform regulatory framework to stablecoin issuers will discourage innovation and push stablecoin activity and jobs out of the United States. We must, I think, ensure that any federal regulatory framework provides clarity and also ensures that the regulation fits the activity rather than simply overlaying traditional banking regulation over stablecoins.
She's right.
Undersecretary Liang, in your opinion, how can stablecoins reduce barriers to financial inclusion and lower transaction costs?
Yes, so
she might be
I
my
think the
age, dude.
potential for digital assets and stablecoin to improve financial are high. It can reduce the costs of payments and it can help individuals who are unbanked or underbanked if they're more comfortable conducting payments on their iPhone than going into a banking office. So I think there is quite a bit of potential, and there are pilot programs.
Yeah, she's making a lot of sense.
The use of stable coins for cross-border remittances. And I think that's a very, positive, favorable development.
I would agree with you, and I thank you for your testimony. I have run out of time, and I yield back, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you.
That was kind of, she was right, though.
From California, Mr. Sherman, who is also the chair of the Subcommittee on Investor Protection, Entrepreneurship, and Capital Markets, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and thank you for having that hearing where we
glasses or no glasses
Zuckerberg come before us.
Glasses.
And, we pretty much stopped the Libra, which would have been.
Oh, it's Sherman. Cobra Coin.
Cryptocurrency
in the building.
that had so much money and power behind it with Facebook and others that it could have emerged as an everyday currency. The ranking member talks about state regulation. I'll just point out that imagine if we didn't have any federal regulation of state chartered banks. The FDIC didn't propose any capital rules. The FDIC didn't do any audits. It would only be a matter of time before a state, there was a race to the bottom, and we would have banks operating in my state, chartered by some other small state, and those banks would be going bankrupt because they would have found the jurisdiction that had the lowest capital requirements. We're told to look at the benefits of these digital systems, but it's really just a potential or hope for benefit. I want a more efficient way to buy a burger. Right now, I use a credit card, and the burger company, the seller has to pay a 2 or 3% fee, or a debit card might cost 50 cents. But it's unfair to compare the alleged potential of crypto to the actuality or current system that we have now. If you're going to compare things, you got to compare current with current. Currently, if I want to buy a burger with a stable coin or a crypto coin, I have to find an Uber, get them to drive me to the one burger stand that's rumored to exist in Cleveland, Ohio, where you can use a stable coin or a crypto coin to buy a burger. But I can't find a burger here in Washington, D.C. We're told about
this fucking guy
to investors, and they are substantial. And where the stablecoin invests in cryptocurrency, you have a joining of two risks. You have all the stablecoin risk with an unstable coin, and then all the risks of the underlying crypto investment. But we can't just look at investors. We have to look at the risk posed to our payment system. And that's why I'm glad sense sometimes what a group that I call patriotic anarchists wave the American flag here whenever law enforcement Madam Undersecretary, you've got a tough job to get a bill through Congress because all the money and power is on the other side. You don't have gangs of lobbyists. You don't have the arena in my city named, enforce anti-money laundering.com. No, it's called crypto.com. What you do have is the credibility of knowing that the Treasury Department and affiliated agencies are putting the national interests over the pecuniary interests of certain investors. But for that credibility to translate into legislation, you represent the working group. And so I'm going to ask you to do more work. Can you come before us and offer specific statutes that you think that we should adopt rather than just a few sentences of explanation? Because if you don't do that, then there'll be some anything that does pass will be considerably weaker than what you're recommending.
Thank you. We would, of course, be happy to work with the Congress on any proposals, and believe that proposals that include an IDI as an option are in the appropriate direction.
Well, I hope that, and I'll make the request formal, that you will take your recommendations and turn them into something very close to or actually statutory language so that we know specifically what you are proposing. I'm told that cryptocurrencies enjoy significant investment by those in disenfranchised and minority communities. Of course, that was also true of subprime lending.
Of course, crypto assets broadly, digital assets broadly.
I hate to do this. But I gotta go. I have to go record a podcast. Sponsored by Clown Emoji, Brad Sherman. Yeah, I have a podcast in 8 minutes. I got to get ready for it. Sorry, guys. You can go find somewhere to watch that if you really want to, because, my God, who can watch that, really? Hope you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk to you. Once again, sorry I had to cut it, but it was fun. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.
That's dope.